And I said, the next presentation, I'm going to be talking about general, because all cancers, even though there are families, the reason why there are cancers is because all cancers, irrespective of their families, share common relationship and features. So in my next presentation, that is what I'm going to be talking about. Some things that you can do to disrupt. And I'm gonna start out by talking about the work of a Nobel Peace Prize winner whose work is well known and whose work has contributed significantly to understanding cancers and how to fight them. So I'm going to talk about those generalities in my next presentation, but I've planned a webinar that is designed for persons and designed for me so that I can talk more without sharing too much on this public platform. So whatever I'm saying tonight is general information, and what I'm going to talk about is also going to be general information, but it's going to be sensitive or more sensitive general information, because I'm going to go into some specifics. What you can do depending on the family, what treatment options are out there, and what have been proven to work for certain families. I'll talk about that. All right, so we talk about the lymphoma. The root words for the word lymphoma are the Latin word lympha and the Greek word oma. And we talked about the different types of lymphomas. And then we have the melanoma families, it's the fifth one. The root word for the word melanomas are the Greek words melas, which means dark, and oma, which means tumor. So these are tumors, cancers that arise from pigment-producing cells known as melanocytes. Melanomas typically affect the skin, but can also occur in other tissues such as the eyes and mucous membranes. And these are cancers that affect persons who don't have, last week I saw somebody who is an albino, and she is here in Jamaica, and she was in the sun a lot because of the nature of her work. She was in the sun a lot, and now she has these cancers all over her body. All over her body. She has bumps, little tumors that come up and bleed. And as I said, there are very effective herbs out there. And depending on the type of cancer, depending on where the cancer is, that is going to determine the treatment options. So let's look on staging of cancers. Staging is a crucial part of cancer classification as it helps determine the extent of cancer spread within the body. The most widely used system for staging is what is called a TNM system, developed by the American Joint Committee on Cancer. And so we're going to look at the TNM. In this system, T stands for the size and extent of the primary tumor. So what is the size? They'll measure the tumor, the primary tumor, the one that was the first one, the one that started first. They're going to look on the size and the extent of the primary tumor, and there's T1, T2, T3, T4. So they're going to determine, one, the size of the primary tumor, whether it is T1, T2, T3, or T4. Next, they're going to look on the N, and the N refers to the number and size of regional lymph nodes involved. So now that you have the tumor, they're going to look at how the tumor is impacting or how it is affecting the regional nodes in that particular area. So if it is in the breast, you're going to look on how is the cancer affecting the lymph nodes under the armpit, or the lymph nodes under your chin, on your neck, or the lymph nodes in your groin. All right, so they're going to look on how the cancer or the lymph nodes that are closest to the primary to the tumor, how it's being impacted. M indicates whether the cancer has metastasized, right? Or metastasize is another name for spread. J.M. Master someone says, Miss, does cancer cause cold hands and cold feet? It can, depending on the type of cancer. So the M indicates whether the cancer has spread and spread to distant organs. Then they have what is called MO for no metastasis, and they have M1 for metastasis. So basically, using these three criterias, they are now able to determine what stage cancer you have. So remember, the first thing you want to find out once you hear that you have cancer or someone has cancer is you want to find out the family that it belongs to. You want to find out the stage. Once you find that out, then you are on the road to now looking at how you're going to deal with this. Staging helps doctors determine the prognosis and plan the treatment approach, such as surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, or immunotherapy. The cancer stages usually assign a number 1 through 4 based on the TNM's categories, with stage 1 being localized and stage 4 indicating widespread metastasis. So localized means that the cancer is in a contained area. Meaning the cancer is in a contained area. You have the cancer, but it is in a contained area. So when I spoke to you about plan of action, if the cancer is in a contained area, in most cases, surgery is the best option because you can cut it out. There are other factors to consider, but if you hear that it's good night, True Talker, if you hear that it's stage 1, it may be good to just cut it out. Of course, there are other factors to consider, and your healthcare provider will guide you as it relates to those factors. And stage 4, all stage 4 means is that the cancer has spread to other organs or other parts of the body. And so what now has to be involved is what is called a systemic approach, because it's not localized. So you have to use a treatment that will affect the cancer wherever in the body it is found. So usually when you're putting a treatment plan together, usually when it's stage 4, depending on the type of cancer, usually you have to have what is called an integrative approach or a multi-prong approach. And a multi-prong approach may include nutrition, it may include direct approach, and as well as a number of other multiple approaches. So that is something that you're going to discuss with the healthcare provider. But staging is very important. That is the reason why these are the 2 things that you need in order to know how to proceed forward. What family it belongs to, what stage is it at. Do I have time, or don't I have time? If I have time, or if it is advanced, then I know that I need to find a way to slow it down. The first thing I need to do is to buy time. Then you have to also look at the factors of where the tumor is. Is there pain involved? Is the person sleeping? Because if the person is not sleeping, then the person can't heal. And if you're going to deal with the pain, preferably, what is the most natural and effective tools that I can use to ensure that I'm sleeping and also slowing the growth of the tumor? So there are a number of factors to consider. A lot of persons, based on their diet, based on their support, because there are some persons, we've seen a lot of adults, senior persons who have cancer, that they don't have no form of support. Once you have cancer, and you know, the funniest thing is, a lot of persons also are ashamed that they have cancer. We're going to talk about the social implication, the psychological implication. There are persons who act as if to be diagnosed with cancer is equivalent to committing a crime, and a crime to be shameful of. So there are some persons who are ashamed and don't want to tell anybody. And then there are some persons who believe that it's not cancer, it's the result of witchcraft. Somebody obey me. Even when all the signs are there, even when they've gone to they've got multiple opinions, there are some persons you can't tell them nothing. And then you obey them. And whereas they may be reluctant to pursue avenues that will improve their health, they are more easy to spend money on witchcraft or paraphernalias that have to do with helping them to get their deliverance. Now, that is not to say that one should not seek supernatural intervention, because natural remedies have their limitations. The supernatural has none. So while you are pursuing your natural plan of action, I recommend that you also include in that your spiritual plan as well. As a matter of fact, your spiritual plan should be one of your most important. Now, spiritual is not just limited to prayer. It also includes positive affirmations. It also includes positive declaration. It also includes forgiving. It also includes getting rid of bitterness. Because one study showed that most persons who had cancer also were harboring thoughts of bitterness or unforgiveness. And so we don't want to rule that out. And we don't want it to appear as if the only remedy is natural. There is also supernatural. The mind is very powerful. And what I have seen is that critical to the recovery, because once you hear that you have cancer, there is a psychological effect that is brought on by fear. Fear is the result of not only a spirit, but also a chemical. Most of these thought patterns that we have, that we manifest in the body, are also the result of chemicals. Fear, chemical induced. Love, chemical induced. And so a lot of these chemicals, in the amounts that they are being produced in the body, does not help. So becoming fearful and crying is not going to help you if you're diagnosed with cancer, if somebody is diagnosed with cancer. At that point, they need as much love and as much support